Welcome to Next Gen Politics, your fresh take on political news and the Trump administration in 2025. This week was a game changer. From Schiff scandals and Gabbard's declassified bombshells to National Guard action in D.C., Social Security wins, a manufacturing boom, the historic Trump-Putin Alaska summit, and European leaders joining Zelensky in Washington. Plus, breaking news. Trump's teasing big progress on Russia, Zelensky's digging in, and Rubio's pushing for a peace deal. I'm your host, breaking it down for young Americans. It's about jobs, security, and your future. Let's dive into the week's top stories. The week kicked off with Senator Adam Schiff in hot water. A Democratic whistleblower told the FBI that Schiff, as a congressman, approved leaking classified info to smear Trump during Russiagate. The Justice Department's also probing alleged mortgage fraud. Schiff paid just 3% on million-dollar homes. Calls for resignation are mounting. Time this to anti-Trump plots. For young Americans, this exposes DC's corruption, a system Trump's fighting. If charges hit, it could clear the path for leaders focused on your priorities, fairness, and opportunity. As of August 17th, the probe's ongoing, no charges yet. DNI Tulsi Gabbard dropped a bombshell, declassifying documents exposing the Russia hoax. On August 7th, she released a 2016 House Intelligence Committee report over CIA objections, claiming it proves Obama-era collusion to sabotage Trump's election. Clapper's emails showed rushed 2017 ICA procedures.
At President Trump's direction and with the support and coordination with the House Intelligence Committee Chairman Rick Crawford, today we've released a declassified Oversight Majority Staff report that was produced in September of 2020. The stunning revelations that we are releasing today should be of concern to every American. This is not about Democrats or Republicans. This has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic and American voters having faith that the votes cast will count. There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't. The report that we released today shows in great detail how they carried this out. They manufactured findings from shoddy sources. They suppressed evidence and credible intelligence that disproved their false claims. They disobeyed traditional tradecraft intelligence community standards and withheld the truth from the American people. In doing so, they conspired to subvert the will of the American people who elected Donald Trump in that election in November of 2016. They worked with their partners in the media to promote this lie, ultimately to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump and launching what would be a years-long coup against him and his administration. We're here today because the American people deserve the truth, they deserve accountability, and they deserve justice.
A DOJ strike force is now investigating. As of August 17th, Gabbard's pushing more releases, calling it a manufactured hoax. For young Americans, this is about honest elections. Trump's accountability push could mean a fairer system for your future. If you're just starting to vote, this is your fight. Midweek, National Guard action rocked D.C., West Virginia, South Carolina, and Ohio sent up to 800 guardsmen to back Trump's safety mission, some possibly armed. A deal avoided an MPD takeover, but protests hit the White House. It echoes 1968 riots. As of August 17th, troops are still deployed amid tensions. For young Americans, this impacts D.C. safety. Trump's law and order stance aims to protect communities, but critics see overreach. If you're eyeing a D.C. career, stay alert. On August 14th, Trump signed a proclamation for Social Security's 90th anniversary, vowing no cuts and touting tax law changes for seniors. He called it stronger, faster, and more secure. Critics warn of risks, but Trump's firm.
Proclamation, please.
Sir, this is a proclamation both commemorating the 90th anniversary of the Social Security Act, the signing of the Social Security Act, and also the incredible accomplishments of your administration. fixing and promoting and safeguarding Social Security. And it also obviously mentions the fact that as part of the One Big Beautiful Bill, a vast majority of our senior citizens are no longer paying taxes on their Social Security benefits, as you promised in your campaign and as you delivered for the American people.
That's a big factor, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That's great. I think they're very happy about it, too. They're very happy about a lot of things. Good job, Frank. Thank you, sir. And Frank has brought with him some of the most talented people in business, and they were making a lot of money, but they made a lot of money. They had money they didn't have to make anymore, and they just want to do this. They want to have our country become strong and good, and that's what's happening. And we're doing that in a lot of locations, a lot of areas. You deal with some of the people that are commissioners, that are secretaries of state, secretaries of treasury and commerce, people that were really, really successful people. And they gave all that up to make a very small amount of money. They don't even consider it a fraction. You say 1%, less than 1%. That's pretty good. That's a big pay cut. But Frank is one of the most outstanding of all. His career has been incredible, and you just have to look at what happened at J.P. Morgan Chase and look at what happened with First Data. First Data was the biggest company of its kind in the world, but it was not going to make it. He went in, and it became a tremendous success. It merged into another company, and he became the head of that company. Then he said, let me go save Social Security. Because as big as that stuff is, it's small potatoes compared in terms of numbers, right? In terms of numbers, these are big numbers. Government numbers are big numbers. So I want to thank everybody for being here, but I'm really proud of you, Frank. And here's your proclamation, and let's take a look at what that looks like. Signed by the human hand. For a change. That's good, right?
As of August 17th, it's a hot topic. For young Americans, this secures your retirement, a promise of benefits for your future, giving you confidence as you start your career. Wednesday, the White House announced a Made in America boom, Apple's $600 billion for 20,000 jobs, Ford's $5 billion, and more, fueled by tax cuts. Bahrain's $17 billion investment added to the surge. For young Americans, this means jobs in tech, auto, and manufacturing, your shot at a thriving economy under Trump's America First agenda. Friday Trump-Putin summit in Alaska was history in the making. At Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson, they met for 3 hours on Ukraine peace. Putin warned of Cold War tensions. Trump teased border exchanges for a Zelensky meeting. A printer leak revealed Trump's gift to Putin. For young Americans, this could stabilize energy prices and open diplomacy careers. Trump's pushing a safer world. European leaders, von der Leyen, Stubb, Macron, Merz, Ruda, Meloni, and Starmer, are joining Ukraine's Zelensky in Washington on Monday, August 18th, to back Kyiv in peace talks post-Alaska summit. Zelensky insists Ukraine's constitution makes giving up land impossible without a trilateral meeting, threatening more sanctions if Russia refuses.
Russia is still unsuccessful in Donetsk region. Putin has been unable to take it for 12 years. And the constitution of Ukraine makes it impossible to give up territory or trade land. Since the territorial issue is so important, it should be discussed only by the leaders of Ukraine and Russia at the trilateral Ukraine, United States, Russia. So far, Russia gives no sign that trilateral will happen, and if Russia refuses, then new sanctions must follow.
Von der Leyen praised Trump's Article 5 like security guarantees, calling
Ukraine must be able to uphold its sovereignty and its territorial integrity. There can be no limitations on Ukrainian armed forces, be it cooperation with or other third countries or assistance from other third countries, no limitations for the Ukrainian armed forces. As I've often said, Ukraine must become a steel porcupine, undigestible for potential invaders. We welcome President Trump's willingness to contribute to Article 5-like security guarantees for Ukraine. And the coalition of the willing, including the European Union, is ready to do its share.
Today, August 17th, Trump posted on Truth Social, "Big progress on Russia. Stay tuned." President DJT. Marco Rubio, on Fox News Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Bartiromo today, said, "In terms of territories, Zelensky is going to have to decide on. This war is only going to get worse." Rubio's pushing for a deal to end the Ukraine war, signaling tough choices ahead.
If at some point it becomes clear that both sides are so far apart and so dug in that we're just not near a peace deal, then the president will have a decision to make about how much more time do we invest in it and what actions does he take then. But I want everyone to understand, if this morning the president woke up and said, "I'm putting these terrible, strong sanctions on Russia," that's fine. It may make people feel good for a couple hours, but here's what you're basically saying. You're saying talks are over. For the foreseeable future, for the next year or year and a half, there's no more talks because there's no one else in the world that can talk to him. Okay, Putin's not going to meet with Macron. He's not going to meet with the UK. With all due respect to these leaders, none of these leaders are going to be able to bring him to the table and talk to them. There's only one leader in the world that has any chance of bringing these two sides together. If there is a chance, there's only one leader in the world that can do it, and that's President Trump. And you forfeit that role the minute you put additional sanctions on him. We may get to that point, unfortunately, but if we do, it means that peace talks are no longer possible, and that would be very unfortunate. Because the real world ramifications are that while we're here calling each other names and doing TV interviews about this stuff and all of that in American politics, there are people who today will be injured and killed in the battlefield and in cities, in Ukraine, on the front lines, and even in Russia. Even as we speak, people that have nothing to do with this war are suffering as a result of it. And I think we are very fortunate and blessed and should be thankful to have a president that has made peace and the achievement of peace a priority of his administration. We've seen it in Cambodia and Thailand. We've seen it in India, Pakistan. We've seen it in Rwanda and the DRC. And we're going to continue to pursue any opportunities we can find to bring about peace in the world.
What are you expecting to present to Zelensky tomorrow?
Well, I think tomorrow's conversations, a lot of it will be centered around what are the kinds of security guarantees that Ukraine is looking for. Because what Ukraine is looking for here is the war ends. How do we make sure this doesn't happen again? How do we make sure that in 2 or 3 years, the Russians don't come back at us? So they want guarantees built up so that they can protect themselves or prevent such a war from occurring in the future. So the details of what that would look like is something that hopefully we'll spend a lot of time discussing tomorrow. We had a long conversation about it yesterday with the national security advisors of multiple European countries. Some work has already gone into it, but now we're at a stage where we need to build some details on it, and then ultimately, obviously present that to the Russian side, who and get them to accept it. But first, we have to have our ducks in order.
What kind of security guarantees is the U.S. willing to make?
Well, that'll be part of the conversation tomorrow. At the end of the day, the truth of the matter is that any security guarantee that, the Europeans, there's a lot they can do and a lot they can offer. And it would be a huge concession. It would be a very big move by the president if he were to offer a U.S. commitment to a security guarantee. That'll be his decision to make. And I want people to understand that. That tells you how bad, if he does it, it tells you how badly he wants peace, how much he values peace, that he would be willing to make a concession like that. But ultimately, that'll be a decision for the president to make. That's what we'll talk about tomorrow. I'm sure we'll spend 6-7 hours talking about these things, maybe more, and try to get to a point where we have something more concrete. We've done a lot of work on it already, but some more work is required before we can say that we have a plan on security guarantees that unifies.
For young Americans, Trump's peace push means global stability, lower energy costs, and job growth in trade and security. Zelensky's D.C. visit could reshape U.S. policy. If you're into international affairs, this is your moment. As of August 17th, talks are heating up. Stay tuned for Monday's summit. That's a wrap on this week's epic ride. Schiff scandals, Gabbard's Russia hoax reveal, D.C. Guard action, Social Security wins, Made in America jobs, the Alaska summit, and now Zelensky's D.C. visit with European leaders, fueled by Trump's. Big progress on Russia and Rubio's peace push. Trump 2025 is building a stronger America for you. If this fired you up, like the video, subscribe for weekly breakdowns, hit the bell, and comment. What's the week's biggest story? Share with friends and stay informed. This is Next Gen Politics. Your future starts here. See you next week.